First and foremost, our processing problem is achieving a uniform composition in homemade chocolate drink powder. Cocoa powder, sugar, and milk powder have different particle size, densities, and flow properties. These differences cause uneven mixing, resulting in inconsistent taste, color, and texture. Therefore, an efficient mixing process using a Vcone mixer is required to produce a uniform and homogeneous powder blend. A Vcone mixer is chosen because it provides gentle and efficient mixing of dry powders. Next, the first objective of this operation is to produce a uniform and homogeneous mixture of cocoa powder, sugar, and milk powder. And the second one is to ensure consistent quality, taste, color, and texture of the chocolate drink powder. The Vcone mixer is a tumbling mixer used to blend dry powders and granules into a uniform and homogeneous mixture. As shown in the diagram, the ingredients are loaded through the feed inlet into the V-shaped mixing vessel. The motor and gearbox rotate the vessel at a controlled speed, causing the powder to tumble continuously. During rotation, the powder repeatedly splits and recombines, promoting diffusion and convective mixing. Finally, the homogeneous powder blend is discharged through the discharge valve.
The proper attire when using a Vcone mixer in the laboratory. Always wear safety goggle, a lab coat, glove, long pants, and closed-toe shoes. Long hair must be tied back and a dust mask should be worn if the material produces dust. Also avoid loose clothing and jewelry. Following the safety requirements help prevent accident and ensure safe operation of the Vcone mixer.
Now, let's look on how to set up the Vcone mixer. First, insert the Vcone vessel onto the drive shaft and support shaft of the mixer. Next, carefully align the Vcone vessel with both the drive shaft and support shaft, ensuring that each end is properly seated and fully engaged with the mounting holders before securing it. Then tighten the locking knobs or screws at the bottom and side support to hold the vessel firmly in place. After that, close the safety area lid cover before operating the equipment. Switch on the power using the right on-off switch. Adjust the rotation speed using the control knob located at the top right of the control panel according to the required mixing condition. Finally, start the mixing process and allow the Vcone vessel to rotate for the required mixing time. Once the mixing is complete, stop the machine and switch off the power before removing the vessel.
This is how to use Vcone mixer. Open the inlet and carefully load the materials into the mixer. Then close and secure the lid properly. Set the mixing time and speed according to the SOP. Then start the machine. After that, allow the mixer to run until the mixing process is complete. And then, stop the machine and wait until it comes to a complete stop before opening it. Lastly, discharge and collect the mixed powder into a suitable container.
Next is the effect of mixing on food material. Before the mixing process, the ingredients existed as separate unmixed phases with clearly different physical characteristics. The dark cocoa powder was very fine and cohesive, the creamer was medium-sized and often agglomerated due to spray drying, while sugar is larger, free-flowing and distinctly granular. Because of these differences in particle size, shape and density, the system initially had a high risk of segregation where each component could remain unevenly distributed. After the processing through the Vcone mixer, the mixture transformed into a perfectly homogeneous blend. The final product appeared as a uniform light brown powder with no visible streak, cluster or pockets of pure cocoa, sugar and creamer. This indicates that the tumbling and diffusion mechanism of the mixer were effective in repeatedly dividing and recombining the particles until a uniform distribution are achieved. 3 different trials were conducted to evaluate the sensory properties of a 3-in-1 cocoa drink with varying ingredient ratios. From the result, trial 1 produced a drinkable but bitter taste due to a relatively high cocoa to sugar ratio, where sweetness was insufficient to fully balance the cocoa bitterness. Trial 2 resulted in a mild and well-balanced flavor, indicating an optimal formulation with good balance between bitterness, sweetness, and creaminess. Trial 3 gave a bland and overly sweet taste as excessive sugar masked the cocoa flavor and reduced overall flavor intensity. From a unit operation perspective, the Vcone mixing process effectively produced a homogeneous blend by minimizing segregation and ensuring uniform distribution of ingredients. Therefore, the differences in sensory outcomes are attributed to formulation ratios rather than mixing and inefficiency, confirming that product quality is governed by formulation design, not a mixing operation.
Next, I will explain the safety check that should be followed when operating the Vcone mixture. The safety procedure are divided into 3 stages: before operation, during operation, and after operation. Following this step, help prevent accidents, protect the equipment, and ensure product quality. Before starting the mixture, we must first inspect the machine for any visible damage, loose, bolt, or worn parts. The mixture chamber should be clean and completely dry to avoid contamination. We also need to ensure that all covers, lids, and discharge valves are securely closed. The safety guards and interlock system must be correctly installed and functioning. Before loading any ingredients, perform a non-load test to confirm that the mixture rotates smoothly without unusual vibration or noise. Lastly, check that the emergency stop button is working properly in case of an emergency. While the mixer is operating, never open the safety guard or loading door because the rotating movement can cause serious injury. Hence, tools and any other objects should be never inserted into the mixture during operation. The mixer should only be operated within its recommended loading capacity to ensure efficient mixing and prevent overloading. Operators should continuously monitoring the machine for any abnormal noise, inverse vibration, overheating, or unusual movement. At the same time, the surrounding work areas should always be kept clean and free from obstacles to ensure a safe working environment. After the mixing process is complete, switch off the power supplies and allow the mixture to come to a complete stop before opening the lid. Before cleaning or maintenance, always follow the lockout and take-out procedure to prevent accidental start-out. Remove any remaining materials from the mixture, then clean and sanitize the equipment thoroughly to maintain hygiene standard. Finally, inspect the machine for any damage, loose component, or signs of wear so that any issue can be repaired before the next operation.